Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining today's video interview on successfully implementing procurement technology. In this interview, we want to explore what makes or breaks procurement technology implementations and what differences exist between procurement suite and best-of-breed implementations. I have with me Robert Waalder, former CPO of Philips and founder of Sourcing Champions, who supports us and other tech companies with implementations. Robert, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Fabian. Great to be here with you. Really nice.
You have had a long career in procurement and have seen quite a few tech implementations. From your perspective, what do you think, why do tech implementations fail? What does failure look like?
Yeah. Failure in tech, that is a topic that is being discussed quite a lot lately. Especially in the areas where we are as Sourcing Champions, because we support the implementation. And failure in tech actually means I only have one definition for it. So if the solution is not really adopted by the buyer community, then it's a failure. So we drive 100% adoption. And that's what you see happening in lots of implementations. Is the software is selected, some trainings have been done to the buyers, but for the buyers it's a very different way of working, and they need to make it part of their daily life. And to accomplish that is more difficult than and quite underestimated at companies. And that's too bad, because there's so many cool solutions now out there for procurement.
So, but when you say that failure means you're not achieving 100% adoption, does that mean that success is only having 100% adoption, or are there other ways to measure success?
Yeah, of course, the success is also depending on which software you actually procure. Of course, can you get the value out of these solutions? That is, and of course, 100% adoption is an underlying element of that. But if you buy a tender solution, for example, you want to make sure, of course, that you do most of your tenders in that solution, but also get the value out of that you are quicker, faster, your analysis are better, your supplier engagement is better. So there are lots of objectives that are behind actually automating these kind of processes.
And I think
I didn't understand that.
See, even Siri doesn't understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
No, but I definitely think like this point of setting objectives, what success looks like, is definitely a very, very strong point. So let's get back to that maybe later, because I have a question for that as well. But why do you think that these implementations fail? What is it that because I mean, like, it sounds so simple, but why is it now that people get it wrong all of the time, and people then after 3 years time say, oh, that didn't work?
Yeah. And the funny thing, I don't know, it's really related to procurement. For example, we also do sourcing of solutions for example, CRM with the Salesforces and the Microsoft, etc. And there for IT and marketing function, it's very clear that, yeah, you buy the software, but then they know there's a big implementation behind it. And they also invest in that. And in the procurement space, the investment budget maybe are sometimes a little bit less. So they balance between, oh, I already bought the software for a significant amount, I don't have too much money anymore for implementing it. Let's see if I have some people inside that can help us. And that's actually where the failure starts, because a proper investment in change management and PMO and training of the team is so important. And that's what we very often see. We don't have more budget. So then the implementation lacks because of that.
So procurement is not looking at it with the total cost of ownership perspective. They basically cut off that part of implementation and just focus on the pure cost of the tech. And because of that, they then later on fall short, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what we often see. Yeah.
Do you think that there's any difference between now implementing a procurement suite or a best of breed solution? or is it that all of those people make the same mistakes?
Now, of course, if you acquire a suite solution, like SAP Ariba or Evalio or a Coupa or a Jaeger, all these solutions.
These nice fancy ones.
Yeah. They need the customizing, all these things. So that's of course they do that, but even with that, the part of change management and PMO is even more important in these suites because they are a bit more complexer to use. And the best of breeds are much more easy to use for buyers, and then you think, it will just sell itself. You just get a log on and everybody can start, which is also not the case. So there you see the differences. So in general, it is just extremely important that the change management and the PMO perspective, the training of the buyers, but also the really management commitment to make sure that all the value comes out of these solutions is there.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that in procurement suites, usually people invest more into the implementation part because it's a more natural thing, because there's customization. And so it is done by big consultancies, usually by the Deloitte's, KPMGs, and you name them. And so therefore, like, there's a lot more focus on this kind of project management and communication, change management topics. Whereas with best of breed, people basically say, yeah, it's an intuitive platform, because that's what we're obviously selling, and it is intuitive, but intuitive doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trained and that your organization doesn't need to be brought along, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we at Sourcing Champions, we are really big enthusiasts around the best of breed solutions, because I've never ever seen in procurement so many cool solutions that can help you in the more strategic and technical part of procurement, which wasn't there in the past. So if you use a category strategy solution out there in the market, or if you use really good spend analytics, or if you use really, really good analytics for sourcing optimization, exactly. Those are tools I would love to have had when I was a category manager. Really fantastic. So we at Sourcing Champions are really enthusiastic about it, and all those best of breed solutions you can use well, etc., and they can also be an alternative for parts of the suite. So it's extremely important that procurement organizations think through that landscape and really select the best optimal solution for their company. And therefore so we focus a lot on the best of breed solution, but making sure that also there the implementations are done in the professional way.
And I think that's unfortunately oftentimes the missing piece for smaller organizations, because they have to focus on so many things simultaneously that that is not their number one priority often, unfortunately. So, but then to close out our interview, what, from your perspective, are the main elements that are needed now in order to drive a successful implementation? If you could just summarize it in the 3 to 4 main points.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, the objectives for the implementation of the chosen solution have to be very clear from the top. Why do we do this? What value needs to come out? And then the management governance around it, and that's where we as Sourcing Champions help a lot, is making sure that the connection between management and the buyers that actually need to use it is very clear, and the objectives are very clear how to get to this 100% adoption. And then a very rigorous change management and PMO and training of the buyers, really hands-on support, which is often forgotten, to help them make the bridge and really use those systems. So those are the main key elements around it. And if companies really invest in that part, then you will get so much out of these best of breed or suite solutions, or the combination of it. And that's what I would recommend companies to think about it and really invest in that part, which will pay off big time.
So basically, to summarize it, set objectives, make sure that everybody is aligned on them from top management through the organization, and measure them, and then do proper PMO, and do proper training and enablement. Those are the 4 key ones.
Yes.
And with that, you're on a good track for a successful implementation.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, really
Perfect.
important. And then they will get this cool solutions out there to help the community really be very strong in strategic procurement.
Perfect. Robert, thank you so much for spending those last 15 minutes with me and sharing a little bit of your perspective on how to drive a successful implementation. It was an absolute pleasure as always. And yeah, have a wonderful day. And again, to the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Robert. He's very easy to find if you just look for sourcing champions, or to us at Archlet. And we're more than happy to talk about our best of breed solution, obviously, as well.
Cool.
So,
thank you. Great to talk with you, Fabian. Excellent.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.